Jax. Hey, little wisdom from the road. It's been a hectic day due to road closures. A lot of the crew, I got some other cattle trucks running around. Some of them are stuck behind, thankfully empty. They're unloaded, but they're stuck behind some barriers, and it's caused a few headaches, but we're getting through it. I just saw something out that window that sparked a memory, and it made me think back with a smile and with fondness now as an adult. However, I remember at the time of this said memory, there was no fondness and happiness and joy. It was like, what? Why? This is outrageous. Why am I being put through this? Let me explain. When I grew up, well, I'm still growing up, but when I was young, I should put it that way. When I was a young feller, I attended grade school in a little 3-classroom schoolhouse in rural Montana. That was K through 6, and it was a great experience. And there was me, there was 4of us in my class, and that was kind of typically how it was. This is how things were back in the day. You think of this today, and you're like, I can't imagine this even today. And this, I mean, it wasn't all that long ago. It was in the mid-90s. There was a teacher at this school who lived in town, and she would give us a ride home in her car from, it was me and 2 siblings and a cousin. And she'd give us all a ride home. And our driveway at the house we lived at growing up was about, let's call it about a quarter mile long. And every day that teacher would give us a ride home from school, she would never, unless the weather was really bad, she would never drop us off at the house. She always dropped us off on the highway, and we'd walk a quarter mile into the house. Now, when we were young, it was just what you did. It was like, well, we walk into the house. That's it. I mean, she dropped us off. We got to walk to the house. We'd get treated with a little taste of glory and wonder when it was like blizzarding or something. She would actually drive us the quarter mile to the front steps of the house, drop us off, and that was always great. But if it was even remotely decent weather out, no. As I drove by, I looked out my window. I'm going a little fast. Anyways, I look out my window, and a while back down the road, it's getting less snowy out there, but there was pretty good snow. And I look out my window and I see 2 little school kids. They were probably, I'm going to guess, they was probably a 1st grader and a 4th grader walking down a driveway with no house in sight. Now I could see as I looked out the window that there was an edge that dropped off, and wherever they lived was down off the edge of that drop off. Of course, the house was down protected, but they were walking, and it was a good half a mile to the edge of that thing to drop down in there. And they were walking, these 2 little kids out there walking through the snow down the driveway. And it sparked that memory that I had going, I remember when I was young, and we'd get dropped off on the highway and we'd have to walk in. And now I laugh and think, I remember it was always fun to walk home, and we'd kick rocks and talk about school and tease each other, and next thing you knew, you were at the front steps. And I know that those kids that I just saw are going through the same thing. Probably oftentimes wondering, why can't someone come up, pick us up here at the end of the driveway, and drive us to the house? As I was marinating my brain in these memories and smiling and just thinking back to those experiences, it caused me to think about what I'm doing with my kids. Am I always, how do I put this? Am I always going a little too far to make things comfortable for them? In this example, they probably have a parent down at the house going, the bus just dropped the kids off. I'm in the middle of getting dinner ready, whatever. They can walk. Are you that way? Are we that way with our kids? Or do we go, I got to drop everything and run out there because they can't walk down the driveway? I mean, there's snow outside and it's 32 degrees and there's no way. I'm going to put everything on hold. I got to drop everything and run and go get my kids. Heaven forbid we have them walk to the end of the driveway. How are we doing this with our kids? And it's our natural instinct to want to make things easy for our kids. You want to provide for them. You want to make things and make their life as good and comfortable as possible. But in that pursuit, are we sometimes going too far? Just keep that in mind as you go around, and it's caused me to think about what I'm doing. are at times we going a little too far to provide comforts that maybe they don't actually need, comforts that are, I should say, are we allowing them to have some discomforts in their life that are good for their development and their growth? Or are we trying too hard to provide every last little thing so that they do not have any ounce of discomfort in their life? I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going down the road. I know this is kind of random, but I saw that and that memory made me smile so much. And I can say that I'm glad that we walked. I enjoyed it as a kid. I mean, yeah, there was times where I'm like, oh, I'm so tired. Oh, I got to use the bathroom, because heaven forbid we use the bathroom at the school, right? You know, there were times like that, but I wouldn't trade that memory for being dropped off at my doorstep every single day for anything. No way. Anyhow, I'm going to rock on. I got a load of cattle waiting for me up here at the sale barn, and we got a long night ahead of us. So I hope you all are doing well. Take some of that food for thought. I'm not asking you to change anything. I just want you to think about the way that you're doing things, and maybe there's a chance that you can provide some acceptable discomfort for your kids to help them become stronger and better little humans on the earth.